trained by John Gosden, who doesn't like pacemakers, but he runs them when it suits him, which it does in this situation. And we think everything that we know about these horses, about this race, they're going to go very quick, very quick. And that just raises some questions about Dariz, because I love Dariz. He's one of the best horses on the planet, but this will be new territory for him. A really high pressure, strongly run 10 furlongs on fast ground is something he hasn't been asked to do before. So it's a question mark until he goes and does it. One horse that we have no such concerns about is Ombudsman, because we can look back at last year's renewal of this race and it'll probably look quite similar to what this year's did. They went really hard. The Coolmore team went very hard in front with Continuous, and Ombudsman got wrapped up until quite late in the day, but really it was to his benefit he was wrapped up, because these horses were stopping and Ombudsman was quickening. So what this tells us is that the way this race is likely to pan out, with a really quick pace on quick ground, we know this horse is perfectly suited to that. We don't know that with Dariz. Dariz could love it, but we don't know until we know. And just to help you along with this now, because all the sectionalists, all the data nerds, they're going to love this. You can watch along. Have a look at this graph given to us by Total Performance Data. This gives us the sectional par times adjusted to good to firm ground. So get your phones out, take a screenshot of this, because this will allow you to watch along, and as the sectionals pop up on the screen during the race, you will be able to see if they're ahead of these par times, if they're going faster than them, or if they're going slower than them. And that'll give you a very good idea in running of how the finish is likely to pan out, because the faster they're going, the more ahead of par they are, the more those that are held up will be favoured. And it's looking like Dariz and Ombudsman will both be held up off this pace. So you got to keep an eye on these sectionals. Richard Hoyles will keep us posted as well. This is going to be an absolute cracker of a race, Ed. And the harder they go, it's going to be fascinating to see how Dariz copes with it, because Ombudsman won't have any issues with it.
Thank you, Kev. Once again, I understood all of it. Right, we're ready to go up a couple of gears with the big race. So far, victorious. My word, she was good. In the Queen Mary, then Valmont struck in a thriller in the Queen's Vase. That jockey is a superstar, he really is. And we've just seen Blue bolt up. Next up, the most eagerly anticipated race of the week, arguably, Ombudsman defending his title.
National lineup, Prince of Wales Stakes.
Our feature on day 2.
And the 8 runners lead the starting stalls. Ombudsman late on the scene, and March has the lead, but it's Ombudsman for William Buick, stretches his neck out and wins the Prince of Wales.
He's a lovely horse, grand horse, he's picked up well and won it well.
this is where all the professionals come to get a proper look at the real star horses, and there's nowhere you'd rather be than here ahead of the Prince of Wales's stakes, because these are the big boys. Darius is just being saddled, so I thought I'd show you first look at Ombudsman, last year's winner of this race. He was so impressive that day. He is so manly, he's strong, he's impressive, and most importantly, he's lovely and relaxed.
What a treat this is going to be. Two of the best horses in the world. And there is the head-to-head. It's Buick against Barcelona. The Goldstons against the prolific Group 1 winning Francis Graffard. Prolific winners, huge prize money. This promises to be a battle royal.
This is the big one.
A feature on day 2. Everyone here wants to get a look at these top-class horses.
It's Ombudsman for William Buick, who stretches his neck out and wins the Prince of Wales's. Darius on the outside, Mini Hawk on the inner, and it's Darius who's home for Mini Hawk. Ombudsman sweeps by Bird Castle. It has worked perfectly for Godolphin.
Graffard is a Group 1 winning machine. Two top horses. The Goldstons win the Prince of Wales's for a 6th time.
The great horses need to win these big races.
So this is our feature on day 2. It's the Group 1 Prince of Wales's Stakes, a bit like yesterday, a clash of two really high quality horses, but it's not just a 2-horse race. Number 1 Almacam, who was the winner of the Tattersalls Gold Cup at the Curragh last time. Possibly a bit surprising that he's chanced on this ground. He's avoided it generally in his career to date. But Kieran Schumacher and Ed Walker have already pulled off one shot this week. Maybe they were heartened by that. Colours of Sheikh Ahmed Almak too. Number 2 is Dancing Gemini, one of the outsiders. Ross Orion looking for a second winner of the week, teaming up with Roger Teal. Dancing Gemini just came back slightly to form with cheek pieces fitted for the first time in the Lock-Inch when finishing in a very, very handy 4th place. Will they have the same effect here? Number 3 is Darius, who disappointed, of course, at York, and then his career took off. The victory in the Arc, and then coming back in Trip, proving his versatility with 2 successes, including in the Prix Gannet, what was the Prix d'Isfahan, now the Prix Aga Khan, in whose colours he races the Aga Khan stud, Mikel Barcelona, Francis Graffard. Number 4 is Devil's Advocate, Rab Havlin, for John and Thady Gosden. He is one of those that we think is in there just to ensure they go a decent gallop. On all form, he has quite a bit to find, and he was the pacemaker for Ombudsman in the Champion Stakes, the back end last campaign. Number 5 is Mississippi River, who's been performing the same duties as pacemaker for various Godolphin horses, for various Coolmore horses, I should say, in the hands of Wayne Lorden. And once again, he's likely to be forcing the pace for the proven stayer Mini Hawk. Number 6 is Ombudsman. That is the second of the Godolphin runners who won this race off a strong gallop last year. William Buick for John Gosden, and he came back with his reappearance success, the Brigadier Gerard, and then he's been a real top-class horse for the yard. William Buick narrowly touched off in our previous contest. Where's the white cat? Number 7 is Mini Hawk, bidding to give Aidan O'Brien, of course, his 100th Royal Ascot winner. He won the Oaks, the Irish Oaks and the Yorkshire Oaks. She did. The Oaks, the Irish Oaks and the Yorkshire Oaks before coming out just second best to Darius in the Arc, and they renew rivalry here. Ryan Moore in the saddle. And number 8, See the Fire, who's notched back-to-back victories this campaign, including a repeat win in the Middleton. She does have a smart turn of foot. She was only 3rd in a strongly run race last year. Oisin Murphy riding for Andrew Balding in the colours of Jeff Smith. 8 runners for the Prince of Wales's Stakes, our Group 1 contest, £1 million over 10 furlongs.
Well, I'm hoping that William Buick is as excited as I am about Ombudsman running in the Prince of Wales Stakes today. This is his track, this is his trip, ground. Hopefully they go fast. Will, are you as excited as I am?
Yeah, look, every time he runs, I'm excited. Of course I am. You know, he's an exceptional horse, and he won the race last year in some style as well. So he's had a good prep into the race. You know, beautiful ground, and you know, he's ready to go.
I spoke to you after he won at Sandown in the Brigadier Gerard, and the impression I got from you is that this is a horse who has matured into the most magnificent specimen and a professional on the racecourse.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's been, you know, he's he's been given time, and then once he did start his career, he's been faultless ever since. And the times he's not won, he's ran great races. So he's spent most of his career at the very top level, taking on and beating some exceptional horses. And today's no different. Darius is he's an ARC winner, and he's looked very good in the Ghana and the Dispahan this year. He's looked faultless. You're looking at him and thinking, you're hoping to see a chink in his armour, and let's be honest, it's hard to find one. So it's going to be a fascinating race. Of course, I know what Ombudsman can do, and it's going to be a fascinating race, and may the best horse win.
We analysts, people who look at these races, spend boring number of hours going through all the different scenarios. I mean, do you do the same, trying to work out how the race is going to play out?
Yeah, of course. And one thing, in these top level races, one thing you want an evenly run race, a true run race where the best horse is able to showcase his ability or her ability. And today, I think looks like there's going to be an even pace on at least, and it should suit not just Ombudsman and Darius, it should suit the whole field. So it's going to be a evenly fair run race.
Part of your job, I imagine, is to switch off yourself and stay cool through the race for the horse as much as anything else. But of course, we come here in the morning and all we're thinking about is how exciting the race is. We're all hyping it up. Darius, Almaca, Mini Hawk, Ombudsman, what a clash. I mean, are you able to control it all the way in the lead up to the race?
Yeah, I started 2 weeks ago. No, of course it's exciting, but he's we've been here before. We know what it takes. We know what he can do, and he's in great shape. He's been faultless, all through the spring and into ASCOT.
Well, we appreciate the time. Best of luck.
Thank you, Rishi.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Okay, so a couple of pacemakers in here, or front runners. Let's skip over them and get to the real hard hitters here, the big players. We'll come back and look at Mini Hawk here, because I feel like she's slightly been forgotten. She was a 3 times Oaks winner last year at Epsom and Ireland and the Yorkshire Oaks as well. And then one blot on her CV last time around, when she was a beaten favourite in the Tats Gold Cup. Is that enough to write her off? I don't think so, but I wonder if she's better over further. This is a 1.25 miles, and her better performances have come over 1.5 miles. So we only have the 8 runners here. They're all a little bit spread out. Who can we find next? This one has got the red hood, the cheek pieces, is not particularly big. It's number 2. Oh, it's Dancing Gemini. Real bonny little horse, this one. He's had quite the career, and I feel like he's been a little bit of a nearly horse, hasn't he? He even ran in the Derby as a 3-year-old over 1.5 miles, but down and trip has been more his thing. He's actually been mostly a miler. They're trying 1.25 miles here for one of the first times. He's got lovely loose water to him, hasn't he? He looks in good nick, as I said. Well spread out here. The next one we can see is See the Fire. Impressive, a winner at York last time out. A track I think she really likes, but she was 3rd in this race last year, and can she turn the tables on some of the colts here? I think it's quite a tall order, but she does often surprise me. I can underestimate her sometimes, but she looks really well here. She gets on particularly well with Asheen Murphy, her rider, and she is nice and calm.
Yes, Jessica, the time for talking is almost over. 6-7 minutes to the start of the Prince of Wales. Jeff Banks is Ombudsman at 6-5. Dara is 9-4. The Prix de l'Arc winner is here at Royal Ascot. Al McCam is 7-1. Oh, so good at the Curragh. Mini Hawk, disappointing at the Curragh, but she's trained by Aidan O'Brien, and she could bounce back on this fast ground. The daughter of Frankel, 8-1. See the Fire is 14-1. Dancing Gemini, 33-1. And the 2 pacemakers, 66-1. Devil's Advocate and the rank outsider, Mississippi River, are under the 1. 6-5, 9-4. Take your pick.
Right, here we have at the Gosden duo. Number 4, Devil's Advocate, is keeping company to number 6, Ombudsman, who is last year's winner. We've seen him in the prelims, and what can I say? Well, nothing not to like about him, because he looks fit. We know he brings in a good form, winning this last year, and in his races, well, his last race, he slightly just got there, but John Gosden has described him as a bit of an older cage fighter now. He knows his job, he knows what he needs to do to get it done, and he is able to deliver. We know he likes ASCOT. That is a positive, and these conditions too. The question you could ask is, can you say the same thing about this horse, number 3, Darius, who is a very, very good horse, having won the ARC last year and 2 Group 1s this year. But the only blip on his CV was when he went to York to run in the Jumpment International, and things really didn't go his way that day. Mikel Barcelona just being legged up there. He is very classy, full of quality. He was being a little bit colty in the prelims, but I like the way he has gathered himself here, and he's cooled off nicely. Al McCann, the first thing I noticed about Al McCann when I first saw him was the size of his feet. He's got massive feet. I wonder if that's why Ed Walker said he has a preference for slightly softer ground. Group 1 winner last time. Very good looking individual, probably just about starting to fulfill his potential.
Well, here's a trainer who's made such a fabulous impression in the last couple of seasons, Francis Graffard, with a horse who won the ARC last year, but it's fair to say has looked quicker in his 2 runs this year. Is that how you view it, Francis?
Definitely. I think I never doubt his ability to run over shorter distances, this horse. But this year, I think I was very impressed with his turn of foot that he has shown in his 2 races this year. So I think he's very powerful, and yeah.
Now, he has travelled to the UK once before, didn't show his best that time at York, and some people have asked questions about the ground today. What are your thoughts on those 2 particular topics?
He's a completely different horse to last year. He was very mature last year, and the race didn't go very well for him, so I drew a line on this performance. But I think, as I said, it brought him forward mentally and physically for the rest of his season. He seems to be very relaxed today. The ground, I'm not worried about it. I think good horses can go on any ground, and especially when you have a turn of foot like he does, it should be interesting to watch.
Are you nervous?
I am. It's true. I mean, I just try not to, and I'm pretty good at it. But if you're not nervous with a runner like this in this race, you're not doing the right job.
We appreciate the candid honesty. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Darius, of course, his biggest egg did come in the Prix de l'Arc, where he beat Mini Hawk. They were drawing stalls 1 and 2 on that occasion. They were a new rivalry this afternoon. She broke brilliantly for Christophe Soumian, and Mikel Barcelona slotted in behind on Darius. And they travelled, I think Darius travelled really well in the Arc. She sat 3rd in a beautiful position. He was right behind her, 5th down the inside. A little bit in Mikel's hands as they ran down off the hill, heading for the fall straight. But she was able to follow him everywhere. I mean, or he was able to follow her. I mean, she quickened up past the 400 metres, 2 furlongs to run. Mikel Barcelona was able to get out, and these 2 3-year-olds pulled well clear in the arc of the older horses. Now I know they had a weight allowance and whatever else, but they looked above. They looked exceptional on this occasion, and they are. Now, he's obviously won the Ghana and the Dispan since. She won first time up and then got beaten at the Curragh, when she was really disappointed behind Al McCann. But on that occasion, she got really worked up at the Curragh and left her race in the parade ring. Whereas watching her today, watch Pat Keating leading her up when she's walking around the ring. He had his hand inside in the chiffney, and he's putting that on her tongue. He's playing with her tongue. He was the same with her in the parade. He was playing with her ear, and they've kept a lid on her today. She lost it on the Curragh, but she's much better behaved today.
There is Darius. I saw him this morning, and I loved him then, and I still love him now. He's funny enough. He's not flashy looking. He's not got a pretty head on him. But sometimes those horses can be soft. He just looks a real hard, tough, well-built champion, and it's lovely to see him. So he's definitely the one that I really like. We're just there in front of us is Ombudsman just coming round. He'll be loaded by Craig Witherford, but again, you can't give him any negatives. He's just class.
So how's this going to play out, Adele?
I mean, we know we've got a couple of pacemakers in the race, and I always think Ombudsman, I think he quite likes having a horse to kind of chase down and, you know, a nice strong pace down. The thing is, we know what he can do. We know he's the right kind of horse for a race like this, and I absolutely loved him in the Praedering. He's got a super intelligent head. He looks a real man now as a horse. He really has strengthened up even more so this year. I don't know, he wasn't overly impressive at Sandown, but don't forget, you're not going to get him super duper fit, are you, first time out? He's a big horse. You're going to take a little bit of work, but I like Ombudsman.
Yeah, Ed was asking how the race would be run. Aidan wasn't very happy in the Curragh with the pace that went in the race that Mini Hawk ran in. I think Mississippi will go really hard here to make this a proper test for Mini Hawk at 10 furlongs. He was quite critical of the lads in the Curragh last night.
Yes, and when you mentioned, Adele, about Ombudsman, remember he was giving £7 to Gethin, and Gethin is an absolute unknown climber. We have no idea where Gethin is going to end up. So I think that a little bit of trouble, so to say, just where he's caught on heels, seems to bring him back on the bridle, and he can switch and use that wonderful change of gear.
I get the impression Ruby's quite keen on Mini Hawk, don't you? There are a few mentions for Mini Hawk there, but Al McCam, haven't spoken about him maybe enough as we could have. He was a winner last time out. It took him till the age of 5 to win a Group 1, but his trainer's always had a huge confidence.
Oh, he's always held him in the very highest of regards, but you just wondered, you know, Kieran gave him a great ride, and Mini Hawk obviously was disappointing, but he's got to step up again, I think, hasn't he? Completely different kettle of fish today.
Nothing to split these two in the market in previous days. There is now, and Brian reporting 2 late 20 grand bets on Ombudsman. Can he deliver and win this race back to back? Richard.
To race on day 2 is the Prince of Wales Stakes Group 1 contest, 10 furlongs. So they burst out of the stalls. Mini Hawk sent forward. Pacemaker Mississippi River on the outside, rousted to gather speed. Devil's Advocate and Darius jumped well in the green colours and settles closer to the speed in 5th than Ombudsman, who's back in the field at the moment. So as anticipated, the early sectionals will be brisk. Mississippi River tanking along. Devil's Advocate and Mini Hawk is happy to sit outside one of the pacemakers in 3rd. 5 lengths back to Darius, who shows in 4th place as they're already beginning the turn at Swinley Bottom. Al McCam races in 5th with See the Fire, Ombudsman and Dancing Gemini up in trip today, and that will be tested given the pace that they're heading. So those sectionals Kevin was mentioning are going to be 12.5 up from Swinley Bottom if they're going a good gallop, and now Mini Hawk is content to allow Mississippi River and Devil's Advocate to press on. 5 lengths back to Mini Hawk, who positions himself at the head of the chasing pack as they continue their steady climb up the hill. Behind these, Darius moves off the rail on the outside of Al McCam, being shadowed by Ombudsman, See the Fire and Dancing Gemini, as at the moment these two setting a furious gallop past the halfway stage, and they have pulled 12 to 15 lengths clear. Mississippi River and Devil's Advocate racing in 3rd place, towing up the Rain Group. Mini Hawk, Darius on the outside, the yellow jacket of Al McCam, then See the Fire, Ombudsman, as the leading pair are already on the turn for home, and they still have a 12-length lead. Devil's Advocate goes to Mississippi River, the two still hammer and tongs. They hear the bell well before Mini Hawk. Al McCam, Darius in 5th place, Ombudsman, and these two are beginning to paddle now out in front. So Devil's Advocate and Mississippi River are now being gathered in by Mini Hawk at the head of affairs. Darius, Ombudsman gathered up on the outside with the white cap as the big guns now begin to mount their challenges. Darius, Ombudsman and Mini Hawk, a triumvirate of stars, and it's Ombudsman who picks up best in the Prince of Waleses. Goes 2 lengths clear from Darius in 2nd, fighting on with Mini Hawk, but Ombudsman in the Godolphin blue, back to back Prince of Waleses decisively. For Jonathan Daly, Gosden, William Buick and Godolphin. Mini Hawk in 2nd, Darius in 3rd, Al McCam, Dancing Gemini, See the Fire, and the 2 pacemakers drop out to the back of the field. The fast pace of last year repeated, the result the same. Ombudsman, the 11 to 10 favourite, well back late on, pulls away from Mini Hawk. Darius just couldn't quicken up the home straight in the same manner as Ombudsman as they pass the line. Bear in mind you are looking at 4 Group 1 winners, and Ombudsman has beaten the other 3 by 4 or 5 lengths. William Buick's had to be patient, so have Godolphin, but it's back-to-back Prince of Waleses for Ombudsman.
And no horse has done that since Mutaram in 1994 and 1995 for John Gosden. That was the wow performance, Jason, I reckon, that we've been waiting for this meeting.
Yeah, we certainly needed that. There just was a moment where the pacemakers, I know they're there to do a job, but what they want is the field to latch onto their tail, to drag them in there. But I suppose going down into Swindley Bottom, they were absolutely flying. And of course, he was at the back of the pack, committed, and it's that wonderful change of gear.
And is that the key thing, that Will Buick rejected that pace, dropped Ombudsman out, and then came late?
Yeah, but you can't say that Minnie Hawk, who was up chasing that in the early stages, hasn't benefited her a complete turnaround in form to the way she was ridden in Ireland last time. And she's actually headed, look, she's probably a good neck down in third, but rallies back through.
And she, we know, has more stamina, doesn't she? So she would have been wanting to draw the sting out of Ombudsman by making it more of a test, whereas Will Buick didn't make too much use of his horse early on and showed that trademark turn of foot that we really saw come out in this race last year.
Darry's no excuses from where he was either. Dropped in, given a bit of an opportunity, but there's much deeper water.
Look, yes, Will, yes! What a performance. Horse and jockey. Will wins this race for a third time. A landmark Royal Ascot win for him. How cool is Big John? Wife Rachel Hood there, who win the Royal procession earlier on. But a landmark win for the jockey. 40 winners, Matt, at the Royal meeting.
Yes, 40 up for Buick, and Sheikh Mohammed won this race with one of his greatest ever horses, Dubai Millennium. But William, this horse, he is right up there.
Yeah, he really is. Look, I'm privileged to be able to ride these horses. You know, I I say it a few times, but this horse, he's just an absolute privilege and a joy to ride and to deal with. And you know what he did there was mind-blowing. His turn of foot is that of a miler, but he stays 10 furlongs. So amazing horse, amazing performance. John and Thady had him in great shape, and you know, congratulations to the whole team and for His Highness Sheikh Mohammed and all the family. This is what it's all about, Royal Ascot. So I'm the lucky man on top.
Yeah, he's won 9 from 12. He's never been out of the first two. When you have two pacemakers tearing off like that, how hard is it as the jockey to judge the pace as well as you judged it?
Yeah, well, you know, he's a closer, he's a turn of foot, so we run these, you know, people run pacemakers because they don't want to force run race. I was never too far from the horse I need to be near. And look, I was comfortable the whole way. It was very smooth, and all credit to the horse, really.
Have you ridden a horse at this distance, William, with a better turn of foot than him?
I don't think I have. I've been very fortunate throughout my career to have ridden some amazing horses, and you know, horses like the few who won this race, and you know, she was also a very good filly, and horses like Gayad and different types of this fella, but this horse, he has that electric turn of foot, so he must be right up there.
Well, officially right now, Ed, he is the second best horse on the planet. Boy, he's a good one.
One little shame is Debbie Singh, who led him up, won't be leading him into the winner's enclosure by the look of what happened there. Well, Gary Foster who rides him each day. But what a horse this is. That was spectacular. Big words those from Will, weren't they? Best he's risen, the performance mind-blowing.
And I think when you have a strong gallop and you just sort them out, don't you? Find out how good they're going to be. There was just that moment where the pacemakers sadly opened up away from the field and they weren't just sort of dragging them along. But
it's a bit like York. Do you remember Devil's Advocate?
Yeah.
So far clear in the Juddmonte International.
And he ran a huge race on that occasion. But down the outside, he had a target on Darry's, and then he was amazed. You know, he just went. You've got to go.
Yeah, and important this race. Well, to back back up his win in the race last year, but to keep putting these Group 1s on his CV, because he's going to make a lovely stallion in the not too distant future. And for his stallion, Night of Thunder, who is part of the Godolphin Darley operation, he's had a great week. He's won this, he's had Bo Echo winning the St James's Palace, and Ten Bob Tony winning the Queen Anne. So all the residual value, all the little pieces of the puzzle coming together.
There are the winning team. Well done to Thady on the right there. And just bear in mind, he's getting quotes for the Eclipse, but you remember John Gosden at Sandown last year said that race came too soon after this. So just mind those bets if I were you. Richard.
So the result of the Prince of Wales' Stakes, a third win of the week, as Francesca said, for the Sire Knight of Thunder. 340,000 as a yearling from Ballyhimmock stud, County Tipperary, who also bred Queen's Logic. Well done to James Hanley. How he must love this horse. As Ombudsman, the 11-10 favourite, gives William Buick his 40th Royal Ascot winner. Godolphin's first of the week, John and Thady Gosden. Middy Hawk in second, 15-2. Aidan O'Brien would just have to wait a little longer for that 100th winner. And Darry's in third, as all of the big guns showed up. Was third at 2-1 for Francis Graffard. But Ombudsman puts them in his place. 3 out of 3 this season, and back-to-back Prince of Waleses.
And Ombudsman did put them into place, as John Gosden hears from William Buick. Anthony Stroud beside him discussing Ombud's victory, which was exceptional. I mean, the pacemakers only counted the Swinley Bottom because they went so fast that they stopped at Swinley Bottom and they became irrelevant to the contest. Ryan Moore is now dictating the pace of this race, which was set at a high tempo. So the ones on your screen as you're watching the race, those figures don't count because they weren't, you couldn't keep them up. They were irrelevant to it. Minnie Hawks in front, Darius is following her, Al McCam on the inside, William Buick at the back. Darius was the first one to show signs that he was feeling the pinch. Mikel Barcelona was starting to squeeze him off the bend, and I didn't like his body language anyway. Ryan is trying to time his challenge now. He wants Al McCam or Darius to come and push him down the straight. William Buick switches out. He's as happy as Larry. He knows the turn of foot he has and what his horse is going to do. And when he starts to open this horse up, the right horses come to the fore. Minnie Hawk, Darius, Ombudsman, and he is just too good for the 4-year-olds. He quickens up, and this is a brilliant performance from a very good horse. Minnie Hawk has run an absolute blinder after our Tattersall's Gold Cup disappointment. Darius, maybe on real quick ground, he might want a little bit further, but the winner was exceptional, and William Buick was cool as a cucumber on him.
Gethin team won't be too disappointed watching that. He beat Gethin at Sandown, giving weight it must be said, but those are 3 world-class horses as Ombudsman becomes the 4th dual winner, Rishi, of the Prince of Waleses.
And here is trainer John Gosden. First of all, John, to reflect on, I guess, a perfectly executed plan?
Yeah, look, obviously Aidan had a pacemaker and we thought we'd have ours doing what we wanted to do as well. So they wound up meeting, as you saw, coming into the bend and off the bend, so they were obviously agreed on the pace. And Devil's Advocate, a furlong off to go, I thought they're going to have to get to him, but this horse has got a phenomenal turn of foot, great acceleration for a mile and a quarter horse, and he just showed that class, and quite something to come away from a field like that. The filly ran great, the Arc winner Darius ran great. Probably the horse who won in Ireland might not have run his race today because he would have been usually in the shake-up, but I thought overall it was one of the great performances of his career.
He's developed into a magnificent brute of a horse.
Brute? That's a bit severe. Well, he's very elegant.
But he looks like a heavyweight boxer. He's so strong.
He's strong.
And
he's
powerful.
very strong. Yeah.
He looks like the sort of horse that, I mean, last year you said after winning here that maybe the Eclipse came a bit too soon, but he looks like he could take that.
Yeah, we always watch him for the next week, 10 days, and the horse will tell you. Really, seriously. You just watch him. You know their habits. You know when they're right, when they're 100%, when they're full of it, and when they're a little quiet. So we'll watch him and see where we go. Just a job on international would be a major target, of course. He likes York.
And you've trained some magnificent, I mean, Kingman, Stradivarius and Naval, Golden Horn, so many. With every performance that he produces like this, how high does he climb in the rankings of the John Gosden trained horses?
We're very lucky to have some wonderful owners to send us those horses, because let me tell you, you can't train empty boxes. So look, he's right up there now, isn't he, with what he's done? But you know, you're talking about Naval, she won everything. You know, he's a lovely horse. You make a good stallion. I'm sure he's got all the right things. He's got a good mind as well as a fabulous body and strength. Yeah.
Not a brute.
Not a brute.
Would you keep him at a mile and a quarter and you won't have a go at a mile and a half at any point?
No. He's too good to go a mile and a half.
John, thank you.
John, you know when you run at Sandown,
Winner number 72 for John Gosden at the Royal Meeting. I must admit, I'm enjoying that rivalry, spikiness, however you want to describe it. Interview at the weekend in the Racing Post. Some comments there and there about the pacemakers. As here's the presentation. Prince and Princess of Wales. Great to have them here at Royal Ascot today, enjoying their day by the look of things. Harry Morley in charge on behalf of the trustees here at Ascot. They will present the prizes to Godolphin, winning this for a 7th time. Abdullah Al Mansouri, Hamdan Al Sabusi, and Sheikh Rashid Al Saud will come and collect the prize. Wasn't it great, Jason? The class horses coming to the fore in a race like that. It's exactly what you want.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, we often talk about the pacemakers. When you think back to some of the brilliant mile athletes, if you like, we always had somebody to set the pace and then jump off the track. And that's what we want, a good, solid, honest, clean race and the real class showing and stamping its authority.
Hugh Anderson up there as well on the right with the guys I mentioned. Do you enjoy that? The rivalry clearly there.
Well, we need it in
That's
any
what sport's
sport.
all about, isn't it?
Of course it is. Absolutely, of course it is. And you know, the two great minds behind the teams that they have going forward and the young guns coming through. That is exactly what the sport is all about. The jockeys' rivalry as well. We need that.
One thing you know is Big John there will not take a backward step as he and Thady come to collect their prizes from the Princess of Wales. We were saying during the royal procession, Francesca, that yellow is pretty stunning, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely sensational. I mean, I don't think there are many things that the Princess of Wales wears where you don't go, wow, she looks incredible, wears clothes so well, and it's brilliant to see her in a lovely bold colour as well.
And with them here, you can guarantee Royal Ascot immediately goes from the back pages to the front pages. And here he is, Will Buick, 40 Royal Ascot wins. And that was a really good interview with Matt. Some strong lines from Will about a horse he's clearly very fond of. 4-time Group 1 winner now. He's winning this race for a 3rd time. John Gosden for a 7th. And I hope Devi, I think I'm right in saying Devi, after Will get his saddle cloth, the lights do here, landmark win. Congratulations to Will. That's going to be a photo to treasure. And I hope in a moment Devi does get his moment, because I always think it's a shame. I think you agree, don't you, Jason, when the person who puts in all that hard work doesn't get that moment of glory leading in their beloved horse into the
He did, but I think he'll be coming up now, which is great. There we go, yes. And, well, we mentioned earlier on about all the graft and the hard work, and you can see the interest he was having in Ombudsman when he came into the winner's enclosure, just looking, checking, seeing how he's walking, make sure they don't stand and pull a shoe, anything like that. All the attention to detail.
Well, there were good performances from a front three, the class horses in the race, as we like to do after a big race like this, as the winners celebrate. Let's get reaction from Beaten Connections.
Kieran Schumacher finished 4th on Al Mackham. Kieran, you were worried about this before the race, but stall 1 didn't help him.
I'm not blaming that. I think the ground is tight enough for him. He didn't not win because of the ground. Like he probably wasn't. It's not his optimal conditions. But yeah, it was an extremely hot race, and fair play to Ombudsman. He's a rocket.
He was brave because he plugged on all the way to the line, didn't he?
Yeah, I possibly got a bit of a better feel from him at the Curragh. I don't think we saw him at his best today.
Mikel Barcelona ran Darius here. Mikel, how did the race go for you?
Well, we had every chance. He came well, and then he just stayed on in the last few long.
Did you feel he'd be better at a mile and a half?
Not really. Just he wanted to get time he travelled away from France, and no, I think he did well.
we've seen a much better Mini Hall today than in Ireland last time.
Yeah, no, we were delighted. Like, remember, we thought what happened the last day, but she's a 1.5 mile filly, really, and over 1.25 miles she wanted an end-to-end gallop, but obviously that was going to suit the winner as well by doing that. But like I said, she's a 1.5 mile filly, and it was lovely. We know exactly, and if the lads want, they can bring her back here for the King George, you know. So we couldn't be happier with her. She met the horse that she ran again in the Arc last year, and yeah, she's so straightforward, big high cruise. Ryan rode her very confident, like there was no doubt about anything today, and he said he kept travelling away down past the 3 down to the 2, and just the winner had a little bit more quicken than her, over 1.25 miles. So we couldn't be happier, really, Matt.
So does the rest of the season basically look King George, probably one more race and then the Arc?
I'd say the lads will decide that what they want to do, but I'd say something like that would work very well.
Okay.
Matt. It's a perfect, lovely prep for the King George today, and like you said, one more then and back to the Arc, back to 1.5 miles again.
Maybe I could do a role like Kevin Blake does to Joseph for race planning or something.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Matt. Yeah.
Thanks, Aidan.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
Now, the man on the left there knows how to win it. Will gets a big kiss. And now, look at all the snappers here today. So, Francesca, what did you make of tactics? They're a big talking point. What did you make of what happened there?
We started the show talking about tactics, didn't we, with Christophe Simeon receiving a ban for his ride in the St James's Palace yesterday. Now, that was relating more to kind of team tactics and riding your horse to help a stablemate. But when we see the two horses tearing off in front there, the two pacemakers, it just makes you look at the rules. And when it says a jockey must be seen to ask their horse for timely reels, substantial efforts to achieve the best possible position, and take all other reasonable, permissible measures throughout the race to ensure the horse is given a full opportunity to achieve this best position, it's just confusing because technically pacemakers are allowed, but they're not being ridden to achieve the best position. Am I reading that wrong? Or is
the thing is there, and this is where you can play devil's advocate. He was ridden that way at York, you remember, and he got away, and we thought, hold on a minute, he's going to go and steal the races. So he's a fascinating contender. But
How was Kirat ridden?
Yeah, Ruby hit the nail on the head, whereas once they gone down round Swinley Bottom and they started to open up, it was then left to Ryan to think, well, the rabbits can't keep going, I'm going to take my time and work our way in.
But you've just called them rabbits, so they're there to set a pace and to go fast in front, to draw the good horses into the race. So they're not necessarily being ridden to achieve the best possible place.
It's a hard one because there's no rule saying how fast a jockey can go or not. So, and they're obviously going out there to go a quick pace, and we kind of seen that, didn't we, today? But we certainly knew they weren't going to be winning the race going that fast, were they?
Bit of a grey area.
And are we going to get? Is Ombudsman? Are we always going to have this now in these races? Pacemaker. Is this what's going to? Is this what is how it's going to be?
They were very in trend a while ago, weren't they? And then I feel like they dropped off for a while, and then now, look, we like them because we want to see a race run at a true tempo, and we want to see the best horse win. But it's just when you start looking at the rules and then you think, well, there's a few contradictions in there. Maybe we should just move on to our next race.
No, can I ask you a question though?
Yes,
I think will be a talking point after this. Kaying Rising and all the other great horses around the world. Where does this guy, Ombudsman, rank?
Oh, he's, well, obviously in a different sort of division, but he's bang up there, isn't he? You know, we had possibly the best 2.25 mile horses, and that performance today takes him up another level from where he is at the moment. So
along the line then, who's the best horse in the world?
Go Ombudsman, actually, because you could easily say Kai Ying, couldn't you?
I think it's Kai Ying.
Yeah,
definitely Kai Ying.
He's beating his own horses, isn't he, all the time?
Yeah, but I think Ombudsman could be, by the end of the season, the best.
Sorry?
I think it will be Ombudsman.
And we might see him, it sounds like we definitely will see him. Probably not Sandown, most definitely the Juddmonte International at York again, where he will defend his title like he did today. What a race it was. Cream came to the top. Will Buick describing Ombudsman as mind-blowing.